Y'all, we're making protein bowls out of cottage cheese. Come on. Welcome to Highfalutin Low Carb, the almost weekly web series where we find and test the best low carb recipes this crazy internet has to offer. Today, we're tackling low carb protein bowls that are perfect for breakfast or lunch. Stay tuned. All right, guys, low carb protein bowls. A lot of people, myself included these days, are sort of reeling in the fat just a little bit in the low carb keto world and adding a little more protein to those low carb meals. And today I want to do that with 3 different options for savory and sweet protein bowls that are perfect for breakfast or lunch. Now, the first of this, the reason this whole all came about for me was because this recipe or technique, I guess you could say, has been haunting my YouTube and Instagram and Facebook feeds. It's a little quick, little simple recipe for a sweet breakfast bowl that's high protein, and it has cottage cheese. And I know if you're not a cottage cheese fan, I'm gonna give you some other options, so stick around. But this has been showing up in my feed from a creator called Autumn Bates. I'm gonna leave a link down here to her YouTube channel, and this was a recipe, I believe she called it my viral protein bowl that blew up the internet. She put it out a few years ago, and it's just a couple of quick ingredients, but gosh, it looks so good. So we're gonna do that one today, as well as a couple of others that I've been making for years, maybe decades. So let's get started on that now. The first recipe, again, is from Autumn Bates, and I normally don't give ingredients here on this channel because these aren't my recipes. I'm just here to test them. But there's just 3 ingredients here that are easy to figure out. So I'm just going to let you know how much she's using of these. And you can, of course, always, please check her channel out. She's got a lot of stuff. It's not all low carb, but she has a lot of lower carb recipes. And I just like her style and her information. So be sure to check her out below. So we're going to get started with a little bit. This is just 3 ingredients. It's cottage cheese, preferably full fat cottage cheese. Full fat has generally lower carbs, less sugar, and a higher protein count. And it just tastes a little better because the extra added fat honestly keeps you satiated a little longer. So we're going with the full fat, 4% fat cottage cheese, and some peanut butter or almond butter. So we're going to start with some frozen berries. This is about 1/3 cup. I've adjusted her recipes just a little bit to get the carb count down a little bit further. So this is 1/3 cup of frozen blueberries. We're going to put them in a pan over medium heat and just let these sort of macerate themselves. We just want to get them warm, soft, a little bit juicy, create some of that blueberry juice in there. You can also do this in the microwave. It's not that difficult. The frozen berries allow you to keep them on hand all the time. They're generally more nutritious, I guess you could say, sometimes than fresh berries, because fresh berries were picked before they were ripe, and they ripen in the truck on the way to you. Otherwise, they wouldn't last that long on the shelf. And frozen berries and frozen fruits are generally picked when they are ripe, flash frozen, so you get a lot more of the nutrients, or at least that is the theory behind that. So I'm going to put this over medium-low heat. We're just going to let this sort of work over here. I'm going to mash these down just a little bit as we go, as they soften up, because we're trying to make a little bit of a sauce, a little blueberry sauce that is going to go on top of our cottage cheese. Now, this is a full cup of cottage cheese. I want you to work hard and look in your dairy counter for the one with the lowest carb count. There are some other brands that specifically are low carb that you can use. This is just one of my store brands that happens to be fairly low carb. I'm going to tell you, you could probably do this with ricotta cheese as well. Just looking at some of the brands of ricotta cheese, they're going to be a little more carby, I guess you could say. But if you work hard, you can get some full fat ricotta cheese that is creamy and delicious, and it almost has the same protein count as cottage cheese without that a little bit of a salty flavor that some people don't like. I personally love it. I love cottage cheese, always have, and it's sort of become the product du jour these days. Now, to our cold cottage cheese, we're just going to add a little bit, about a tablespoon or more of peanut butter or almond butter. Make sure you have a sugar-free version of this, preferably an all-natural one that doesn't have seed oils or palm kernel oil in it. Just natural peanut butter, or if you're watching, don't care about the oxalates, the almond butter. Just kind of want to keep this going, and I'm going to get a fork and sort of mash these down. Hold on. The magic of this is when you pour this on top of the peanut butter, it melts the peanut butter into this, and you know, over the dish, and the mixture of the cold and the warm is a nice contrast. So Autumn Bates, thank you for this little, I guess you could call it a recipe or your technique that blew up the internet a few years ago, and I'm glad to finally get a chance to try it. So, okay, so our berries are ready to go. We don't want them to work too long because we don't want them to dry out in this pan. So these are going to we're going to pour right on top of our peanut butter. And I'm just going to get this out of the way. And this looks gorgeous. I'm going to take a quick photo of this, but let's talk about the nutrition before I taste this. Again, this is the Cottage Cheese Blueberry Bowl by Autumn Bates. If you make this, the entire bowl is 343 calories. It's about 19 grams of fat. You've got 32 grams of protein, which is great. You've got 15 grams of total carbs. You've got 3 grams of fiber, so that's 12 grams of net carbs. So a little bit high if you're strict keto. Most here on this channel, I'm low carb more so than keto. And so again, if you wanted to work with this and get it a little bit lower in carbs, you can try some other of the lower carb cottage cheese brands, and even the ricotta cheese might be an option for you. So let me take a quick photo of this and I'll be back and we'll test this. Okay, so as you can tell, this video is going to go really quickly because these aren't really difficult recipes at all, but I thought I'd give you some options and ideas for quick recipes. Now this is so creamy and beautiful. So you want to get a spoonful with a little bit of all of it, and those warm blueberries are melting that peanut butter nicely. And I love the saltiness of the cottage cheese, so. Oh gosh. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah. Obviously that was delicious. I just had to put that in the fridge for now, or I would have finished the whole bowl. And I've got 2 more to make for you. So we're going to get started. Our next ones are just as easy. Take a little bit more work because there's a little bit more involved than that one. But yeah, that was fantastic. So Autumn, yum. I see why you blew up the internet. As easy as it was delicious. All right, before we begin on our second recipe though, I need to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Thrive Market. Thrive is an online membership-based grocery store on a mission to make healthy living easy and affordable for everybody. You can search their catalog of thousands of name brand products and sort it by the values that matter most to you. Now for me and for us, that's probably going to be low carb and keto, but it could be vegan, organic, paleo, non-GMO, BPA free, whatever matters most to you, you can sort their catalog by those values. Now, you know that they have been a long-time sponsor of the channel. I've actually, on my last order, was curious, how much have I really saved? Because they guarantee savings on every single order. So I'm just going to put up here on the screen a screenshot from my last order. I've been a member of Thrive since 2016, and they became a channel sponsor, I believe, a couple of years after that. In that time, I have saved $837.68 off of retail. Not spent, saved. That's about $46.54 per order. In addition to that, I've saved about 27 pounds of waste from going into landfills and 91.8 pounds of carbon emissions that have been reduced because they ship from zero carbon neutral warehouses. Like I said, they have savings guaranteed on every order, and if you find some of your favorite products cheaper elsewhere, they will actually match those prices. Now, like a lot of big box discount stores, there is a membership fee to join Thrive Market. You can do a month-to-month plan just to see if it's for you. I think it's about 12 bucks a month and just sort of get the feel of things. Or you can do like me and go for the annual program. It's $5 a month. I know I'm obviously going to at least save $5 per order. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And at the end of the year, if you haven't saved as much as your membership fee costs, they will actually credit you the difference in that. So they have a great deal for viewers of my channel right now. If you will go to thrivemarket.com/highfalutin low carb, you will get 30% off your first order and a free gift valued it up to $60. So thank you, Thrive, for sponsoring this video. It's sponsorships like yours that keep channels like mine on the air, and for that I'm truly appreciative. So guys, if you want to support me, go support them. Go to thrivemarket.com/highfalutin low carb. You're going to get 30% off of that first order and a free gift valued at up to $60. All right, let's go start this recipe. Come on. Okay, so let's tackle this second recipe. This one again is super easy, super high protein as well, and a lot lower carbs. This is my version of a cottage cheese scrambled egg bowl. This is something I've made literally for years. So you see I've got a half cup of cottage cheese over here just on the ready, waiting to go in my bowl. I put a little bit of oil in a nonstick skillet, and we're going to scramble 3 whole eggs here. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste, just whatever you feel is good for you. And I'm going to give you a little restaurant trick here. Sometimes, you add milk or cream. People will add milk or cream to their scrambled eggs and think that it's going to make it fluffy. And what that actually can do is actually make your eggs tough, because you think about custards or quiches, it's cream and eggs, and those are firm, right? So at least the restaurant I used to work at, where I scrambled about 1,000 eggs a day back in a million years ago, we'd take about a tablespoon of water, and just plain water, add that to your eggs while you're scrambling them. And then it doesn't water them down, but it makes them so light and so fluffy. Really, really super, super fluffy scrambled eggs. So I'm going to put these in our warm pan, and let's make sure we got a little bit of oil. I'm out of my oil spray. I need another Thrive Market delivery to come, because I get my avocado oil spray directly from them, and I'm out of it right now. So we're just going to scramble these eggs real quick. And I used to do this, a version of this, the very first office job that I ever got. I would make breakfast there because I had to be there early. I would take a coffee cup and scramble an egg in the coffee cup and put it in the microwave. And you can scramble an egg that way. And then I would add that to the cold cottage cheese, and and a little bit of salsa. And I became addicted to the contrast of the warm, soft, creamy egg to the cold cottage cheese. It was just, I began to crave it. I made everybody in the whole office furious, because I'm gonna be honest with you, ain't nothing worse, stinks like a sulfur egg, than an egg scrambled in a microwave. But it was great at the time, and if you're in a pinch, you can do it that way as well. So I'm just gonna scramble these real quick, and I'll speed this up, and we'll be right back. Okay, my eggs now are soft scrambled. I like mine to be creamy rather than hard scrambled. I love a soft scrambled egg. So I'm going to put this over here on the side of my cottage cheese, and this is almost like a custard because the scrambled eggs are so soft and ooey gooey. You can add a little cheese to it if you want to, but my gosh, you've already got half a cup of cottage cheese over here. So let me get this out of the way. And now to finish this off, I just use a little bit of fresh salsa. I try to find a salsa. You don't want much of this because salsa is high in carbs. Before we do though, I like a little pepper on top, and especially in the cottage cheese. And I like to get a salsa that is in the refrigerator section, not from the jarred section. I feel like it's just a little bit better quality. And then just to add a little more flavor and color, we're going to add a little bit of just about a half of a small avocado. You don't want too much here because you're not adding you don't want to add too much more fat. But this always looks so nice. Okay. So a little green avocado on top. Trying to make it look pretty for my photo. Okay, so look at that. That looks beautiful. If you don't want avocado, a little bit of green onion or any kind of something green on there would be beautiful. Let me get a couple of photos of that real quick. All right, so is this as good as I remember it? This is super easy, super fast. If you do it on the stove in a skillet, you don't have to worry about making the whole office smell like toots. So down the hatch. Yes. Eggs are creamy. So just to discuss the nutrition on this, the cottage cheese scrambled egg bowl, if you make the whole bowl, is 442 calories. You've got 29 grams of fat. You've got 34 grams of protein. You got 11 total carbs, 5 grams of fiber. So that's 6 net carbs for the cottage cheese scrambled bowl. So this is getting a little more into keto territory, but still super high protein and absolutely delicious. All right. So on to number 3, and we're almost done. Okay, so this next one is super easy and doesn't require any cooking. And this is what I'm calling the cottage cheese tuna salad bowl. As you can see here, we've got about a half a cup of cottage cheese and a little handful of spring mix on the bottom just to sort of flesh this out and give a little bit of color. And to this, we're going to add a whole can of tuna. And to my dismay, I always keep a can of, or two, multiple cans of albacore tuna in oil. I like the olive oil and then drain the oil off. It's just a better quality tuna to me. Unfortunately, I didn't do the shopping this week and someone else did. So we have 4 cans of chunk light tuna to my dismay. So in the effort of just to show you, you can, even though it may not be the perfect your perfect ingredients, anything will work. Some people actually prefer the chunk light tuna. I just prefer the oil oil-based big beautiful albacore tuna. So in this goes, we're just going to put this right on top. If you don't like tuna, you can substitute canned chicken works in this. I'll tell you also, I am a big fan of high quality sardines, particularly from Italy or Spain. You can find them in specialty food stores, if not some of your other grocery stores. I love them, and they work great in this. I realize not everybody likes that and would probably recoil and say, oh my gosh, why would you do that? But to this, we're going to add just a few little cucumbers to the side. You can also use those almost like a little chip to dip into your cottage cheese as you're eating them. And then we're going to put in, I'm going to hold them together so my photo stays together. We're going to also put in a whole boiled egg that you've quartered. Just trying to make it look pretty. This, of course, is adding lots of protein. Now, to dress this up a little bit, I love capers. So if you have capers or keep them on hand, a few of them gives a nice salty brine to your tuna. So capers on top. And then if you like hot sauce, both of these are optional. Hot sauce, a little bit of a couple of drops of your favorite hot sauce. I like Louisiana. I'm addicted right now. I'm completely out of it. The Cholula Chipotle hot sauce. Great Scott, it is good. And then lastly, I'm going to add in a little bit of, on the top, a little bit of the za'atar spice. If you don't know what za'atar is, I encourage you to look into it. It is fantastic. It's just a Middle Eastern spice blend that is some sesame seeds and sumac, which I love sumac. It is one of the most unusual flavors I've ever experienced, and I love it, love it, love it. There are multiple brands. This one was the Gustus Vitae, which I believe I got from Amazon, but you can find it in most grocery stores these days. So this is the cottage cheese tuna salad bowl, almost a niçoise. Let's talk about nutrition before we go any further. And this is a cottage cheese tuna salad bowl. If you make the whole bowl, it's 410 calories. You've got 15 grams of fat, 61 grams of protein. You've got 5 total carbs, 1 gram of fiber. So that's 4 grams of net carbs. And that is a huge serving, as you can see. So this is beautiful. I'm going to take a couple of photos of this, but I'm not even going to bother to taste it because this is going to be my lunch after this. And I know it's delicious because I've had it many times before. So There you have it, guys. Low carb, high protein bowls for breakfast and lunch. You bet, super easy. If you don't want to try the cottage cheese one, at least on that first sweet recipe, maybe try some ricotta cheese if you can find one that has a lower carb count. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I say it every time. These videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating. Looking at the end of that camera as often as I can helps keep me honest. So I appreciate that you guys have come along for the journey. I'm going to ask you to please hit the like button down below, hit the bell button and subscribe so you'll know just as soon as I release a new video. That's the easiest thing you can do to help out the channel. I also want to ask you to follow me over on Facebook and Instagram. It's just Highfalutin Low Carb over there. I talk a little more frequently, a little more freely over there, so I can show you what I'm eating and doing regularly if you want to follow on that. I also need to thank again my sponsor this video, Thrive Market. Be sure to hit them up at thrivemarket.com/Highfalutin Low Carb. They've got that great deal for you guys right now where you'll get 30% off your first order and free gifts valued at up to $60. So thank you, Thrive, for sponsoring this video. I say it every time, sponsorships aren't why I do this, they're how I do this. So I thank them for that. And lastly, if you want to be one of my rock stars and see your name starting to scroll over here with these other folks, these are my Patreon members. You can go to patreon.com/Highfalutin Low Carb. If you don't know what Patreon is, think of it as the tip jar for the internet. It lets people like you who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube. You can give a couple of bucks a month just to keep the train on the tracks and see your name scroll here with all of my other rock stars. Without them, none of this would be possible. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, today is a great day to have a great day. Bye-bye.